Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing Digimon Alysion. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with it or hasn't heard about Digimon Alysion before, basically what it is it's a digital version of the Digimon card game. This can be played online with other people over the internet. It's something we've been asking for a very long time. I remember even in early surveys, Bandai was asking how we'd like to play it, would it be desktop or PC. Personally, I probably would have preferred a mix of both, something like what Master Duel got when it came out. But at the moment, we're only going to be getting just a phone version, a mobile version. So it's going to be coming out for Android and iPhone, from what I believe. And last week, they released a beta. So I managed to get my hands on the beta. The beta was rolled out, and it wasn't just anyone that applied could get it. You had to apply and get it through a lottery, which kind of sucks. I'll give my own thoughts on that in a bit. But I did manage to get my hands on it there. I think it was last Friday, I want to say. Last Friday, I picked it up, and basically I just played through the story mode on stream here, and then I played through more of it over the days on my own. I was away unfortunately over the weekend, so I was kind of just playing it in my spare time, whether I was traveling or, you know, if I got time wherever I was. To be honest, I'm very happy with it. In my mind, no, I'm not an expert when it comes to like problems with video games or bugs or glitches or anything like that, but in my mind, from what I've seen, I think it's playable. I think it works. I don't think it's far off of release based on what I've seen and what I've played. I did have a couple of issues with maybe small things that are kind of like maybe nitpicky, but in my mind, I'm kind of thinking it definitely needs to be fixed or addressed in some kind of a way. One thing I know a lot of people, I suppose I'll just roll into it. So I'm just going to talk about basically the story mode, because that's what I played on stream. You can check, the VOD is all up. You can have a look at that. I'm going to have some other bits and pieces in here just showing my own gameplay or whatever from different aspects of the app, so you can have a look. But looking at the story mode, giving some of my own opinions on it here. So one problem I had was just with the tutorial, and it was more so to do with how handholdy it was. I understand that the game is going to be, you know, especially tutorials, gotta be there for newer players or whatever, so they can learn the rules of the game. I think that's very important, but I do think that for the first couple of chapters, I kind of want the tutorial to be almost skippable, so that you can just get the story, get the little chunks of like information that you need about each character, a little bit of the information about the world around you, and just basically the overall kind of like introduction to the game itself. I think having the tutorial kind of locked behind that, it kind of it just seems tedious, to be honest. That's my biggest issue with it. Is it doable? Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind too much, but it's just, like I said, it just seems a little bit tedious to go through it. But overall, it's a small, it's a minor thing. I think there was one bigger issue that I'll get into, and that's with the actual gameplay. And I've kind of seen this a bit myself, not to the extent other people have, but with the tamer cards. So tamer cards are played on the field. Usually in a game of Digimon cards, you put the tamer down the bottom right. There's a designated section of the board for the tamer cards to go. But in Digimon Alysion, at the moment, they're up with all the Digimon. It's really weird. Like, I can't get it on my head now. It's actually genuinely bothering me about the tamer stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of room on the left for like the security cards. They could easily have those, the blue squares, they should easily have those on the left side of the screen where there's all this space. I don't know if you can see it over here where I'm tapping, and then just have like down here where the security cards are, have the tamers, like just a little icon of them, or even over here, because when I lift my hand up, just have the tamer here. I don't know, I feel like there's a little bit, and I don't know what the fuck this is. I suppose that's an overall of what everything is, but I don't really need that. If they just had like little numbers when you tap like the deck, you could have like an update. I don't know, I feel like there's some things they could just move around a bit. Being that you have a maximum limit of 10 cards on the board, 10 Digimon, and the tamer's counting for that allocation of Digimon to be on your board, it's very cumbersome to have them there. One, it looks a bit messy, the board having a mix of Digimon and a mix of tamers. It just looks a bit off, and to be honest, I didn't spot this for a while because I wasn't really playing like too much of convoluted matches at the time, but it was actually someone in chat highlighted it to me that the tamer's up with the Digimon. It's kind of a problem. It was like, what? And then once I seen it, I could not unsee it. It's kind of, it's annoying just to look at first, but then when you realize it eats into the number of Digimon that you have on the board, it's kind of, you know, bad enough that there is a limit. I'm pretty sure that there's going to have to be a limit. Just the fact that it's a Digimon card game, they obviously have to program and code for all that. I don't know. Basically, this is all way beyond what I'm understanding. But basically, if you're going to have your Digimon on the board, you can only have 10. I don't think the tamer should be counted as part of it, because with the physical card game, I don't think there's even a limit. It's been a while since I played, but I don't think there's even a limit. As far as I know, you could just throw up whatever amount of Digimon as you want, but I do think that needs to be looked at for sure. One more little gripe that I have, and this is more so to do with the card game overall, I suppose, and it's to do with option cards. Now this, I just learned, is a rule with the option cards, is that you can just play an option card, whether you can use the effect or not, just to use the memory and kind of like alter the memory gauge in your to your advantage. I don't know. that seems kind of cheap. I've done it myself to a few players while I was playing. I was like, fuck it, why not? Like, but it just seems kind of like, if you're at 0, you've got an option card for 1, you're not going to see the effect of it, which you just use it just to give your opponent 1 memory. It seems kind of broken. I kind of hope that gets fixed, though it's this far into the card game. I don't think it ever will get fixed. It just seems kind of like, it's just kind of strange. But look, if that's the rules, that's the rules. That's about it, though. They were the only kind of like major issues I hit. I did have once or twice connection issues. Now I'm not sure. I think that could mostly be myself. So for part of it, I was traveling while I was playing it. So maybe it's just an area I was traveling through that just like didn't have connection or whatever. Just things like that. But when I got disconnected, I'd go back on and I'd still be at the same point of the battle that I was at when I got disconnected, which wasn't too bad. But it's just one or two things like that. I suppose the time limit is another one. I feel like it gives you 20 minutes per game. The 20 minutes, I've cut fairly close to the 20 minutes a couple of times, where it came down to like literally like 30 seconds, 40 seconds and stuff, and just managed to like win or lose or whatever. The game just so happened to finish around that time. It's a bit tight for my liking. The same with the player moves. I feel like the player turn could be a little bit longer. You know, it just seems everything is just too fast paced, you're too rushed in what you're wanting to do. I feel like the game could easily go to a 30-minute clock. I don't see why it needs to be restricted to 20. I think 30 is plenty of time. That's more than enough. But that's my kind of like main thoughts on those aspects. Playing the beta, I did realize that it was extremely generous in the cards it gave. I'm hoping this transfers over to when the game is released, that it's still as generous with the picks, the cards you get, because there was a few times there I managed to get secret rares and stuff like that fairly easily, and I got multiples. So if I pulled a pack of 10, I know at one point I got like the Digimon from BT1. I managed to get that, and then there was also just to clarify as well, the sets that were in it that I seen were BT1, BT2 and BT3. So it's very early game, which I think is fine for introduction. As I'm assuming there will be more sets introduced as the game goes on. We'll eventually catch up with the actual card game, though I feel like that's going to be a while off, so the game is going to be a little bit more behind, so we're not going to have X antibodies or nothing for a while it was out, which again, I think for newcomers it's better to learn the rules that way. Things are a bit slower, you know, rather than just dumping everything in, because the last time I played was BT9, which was around the time X antibodies came out. If I was to jump in and there was all these newer mechanics, I feel like there was another mechanic, it was an Ace or something like that, I can't remember what it was, but there was another mechanic came out after X antibodies, and I would not have a clue myself how that works. So it was just nice that we had a simple the toughest thing I suppose would be probably DNA Digivolution being in there, and that was about it. That's as tough as it gets, which isn't too bad. But yeah, as far as the generous kind of like cards in the boosters, I feel like that was only done for the beta, just to make sure that some of the bigger cards got out there and make sure everything is working fine. I feel like when the game is officially released, all those the rates are going to drop, and it'll be impossible to get stuff like that again, or next to impossible, which would be a shame. I think it kind of made it a lot easier to build your deck, but if this is going to be a game based on microtransactions, which most card games are, I feel like that just works against you to be able to do that. So again, I just feel like it was only a thing for the beta to be able to get these cards so early. which is gonna suck if they release the game and I lose all the cards that I got. There's some cool cards I got. It's like, what was it, Alter S and stuff I got like that. There is basically all the bigger cards like Beelzemon and stuff, the big kind of like boss monsters from the early game. So besides buying booster packs like BT1, 2 or 3, the other things you could do is you had daily missions and other missions that you could do that would unlock various different other things like starter decks, or you could also go through your daily cards, so you get a daily booster pack that would give you a random couple of cards. I think it was like 10 cards in a pack. I feel like it was 10 cards, I could be wrong, maybe 6 or 7, I'm not too sure exactly on the number, but you'll see it on the screen anyways. I think they gave enough ways to get new cards for the beta. I hope they keep these going forward and they don't just get rid of things, you know, change missions or drop the daily cards or whatever, you know, just be able to keep them there. There was a few different ways to get cards and beef up your deck early game. So from what I played, there was only a couple of items in the game. There was one item that you collect that would bring down the timer for getting your new daily Digimon cards. You'd have so many built up to be able to get that new pack unlocked. The other item was your Digigems. Now these are used obviously to trade in as digital currency, so that you can trade over to get these new packs or whatever that you're wanting to buy. Those are the only 2 items that I recognized while I was playing. I do wonder what other items they'll be adding to the game, if any, but for the most part those who do the job, kind of make things, you know, make things easy as possible. One other cool function that this app had was the breeding section. Now this isn't the breeding section to do with the game where you have your, you know, once per turn you can breed a Digimon or whatever. This is a different thing altogether, and it's to do with, on the main menu there's a section for breeding Digimon. Now these act not necessarily as a VPET, but as a Digimon that you can raise while you're playing, and like every 20 minutes, so I want to say a half an hour, you can go in there and digivolve your Digimon to the next stage, all the way up until you get to Mega. Once you get to Mega, you can unlock a new card by playing that, and to be honest I think it's a cool little feature. Again, it's just another way to get new cards. Now onto the screen that pretty much everyone's going to spend the majority of their time on when they're not going to be playing the game, and that's deck building. As you'd expect, there's a filter there, so if you're looking for different cards, types of cards you're looking for, tamers, options, Digimon of a level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's stuff you can go filter by color. It's very handy for the most part. I really enjoyed it, to be fair. I just feel like, as far as the rollout for the beta, I feel like it should have been open to pretty much anyone. Now again, I'm not too sure if this is to do with, you know, maybe too much information going to them or whatever. It might have been an overload for the system basically on any problems that are popping up. Maybe a smaller group of people playing the game is more ideal. I'm not too sure on how betas work or not, but I felt bad for the people that wanted to play that couldn't play. As far as, actually, I never spoke about it, online duel. So yeah, online duels were pretty easy to set up a match. They didn't take too long. I think maybe 5-10 seconds at most to set up a game, which wasn't too bad. Like, wait for someone. So yeah, I expected if there was only a small few people getting to play the beta, there was going to be points where I'd have to wait for a match, or maybe even there was something on that was a bit buggy that like made matchmaking a little bit like more difficult to do. But no, I think matchmaking was actually pretty good in this, and to be honest, I was actually happy to see how well it worked. And that's the same for the whole app. The app overall just worked really, really well. I do hope this is a sign that we're going to get it soon. I wouldn't mind if Digimon tried to do a big thing in October and roll out everything Time Stranger in the card game. Now that might affect marketing for one or the other, one way or another, but it just would be cool to have like this big thing, I suppose, even for the end of the year. If they just don't at the end of the year, just kind of like give Time Stranger a bit of time to breathe, and then just around Christmas just release Alysion. I don't know, I just think it'd be kind of cool. Just, I suppose I'm just getting impatient as well. It'd just be cool to be able to play it with everyone that really wanted to play, because it's something I do want to do on the channel. Is every Sunday I'm just going to do some card game stuff when that game comes out, so maybe we'll be able to play together on here. I might play some regular matches online as well, just kind of like show off and kind of just get into the card game again myself, because it's been something I've been really missing. Prior to this, just coincidentally, I was actually playing it with my son, trying to show him, because I just kind of missed the game. It's been a long time. But yeah, it's something, again, I am just getting impatient for. I just want to back out. Like I said, the beta closed a couple of days ago, so I can't play it anymore. It just kind of sucks. But no, I think it was a great experience being able to play it, and I do hope it comes out soon. But yeah, let me know some of your thoughts. Did you get to play? Did you not get to play? What are some things that you noticed, be it through your own gameplay or watching someone else's stream or other information floating around? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thanks very much for watching. See you again. Bye bye.